Huh?
Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this mouth and eyelid.
Ah.
Oh my god, Shelly, are you okay? Now before the video starts, if you want to see a specific part of the video, there are timestamps below the video, so you can just skip to where you want to be. Select everything, X to delete, and we're going to add a plane with Shift A, and we'll hit R, X, 90. We're going to go into side view, SZ, then we're going to hit SX. Now we're going to go into edit mode tab. Now we can add loop cuts in between. We're going to drag click these and hit M to merge them. We're going to hit Control R to add a loop cut. We're going to select both of these and hit J to connect them. Now I'm going to click these and hit right click and subdivide, so we can put one in the middle. We're going to move it out since it's a little smaller. We'll hit Control R to add the loop cut. And we're going to hit V to separate the edges. We can hit L and an X to delete it. Now we can go over to modifiers and add our first one, the mirror modifier. Turn on clipping, select this with Alt click, then we can hit G, X and move it left and right. We're going to add a loop cut over here just to add some more shape to our mouth. We're going to slide these with GG, and we're going to add 2 loop cuts here. We're going to add just a little bit more just so we can shape the mouth to look good. We're going to hit A and then SZ, then we're going to add a loop cut here. It's looking good. Now we're going to go ahead and add our first bone. We're going to click on our mouth and then we're going to hit tab. We're going to hit Shift S and it'll put up this menu. We can hit the bottom one to put our cursor to where we selected. We'll hit Shift S again on a bone, move it to that area. In fact, I want to put it up here. We're just going to hit Shift S, edit mode, and just keep doing the same thing around the mouth. Now that we have that, we want them all to be facing the same direction. So we're going to select everything, hit Shift in, and we're going to select the Y axis. We're going to duplicate it by hitting Shift D, and we're going to line it up with the mouth down below. I decided to move the bones down just a little bit more, just to be centered with the mouth. We're going to click this bone, hit F2 or spacebar, and we're going to name it lip underscore upper 1.L. Make sure you have the .L. We're going to copy it and then we're going to paste it to all of the other bones, changing the number depending on what bone is. We're going to do the same thing for the bottom, but replace upper with lower 1.L. And we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. Now we're done with that, we're going to select everything. I'm going to hit right click and hit symmetrize. If this happens, it means that your origin point is wrong. So hit tab, hit Control A, and then all transforms. This will apply every transform and put it back to its normal position. We're going to add another bone right here, and we're going to put it right here on the corner of the mouth. We're going to go up here to the top, turn on individual origins to make it scale better. Now we're going to select all of our bones to the right, like this. And I'm going to hit E, Z, and move them out, as you can see. Now we want them all to be separate parts, so we're going to click on one of the bones, hit Alt P, and then hit Clear Parents. We're going to do it with all of our bones, including the top ones. Select these 2 edges and move them up. These will already be unparented, so we don't have to do it. I saw that the bones in the middle were not actually in the middle, so I selected all of them, changed my selection options, and then hit SX0, 0 on the keyboard. Now they're perfectly straight. We're going to take our new bones that we just made, we're going to call it lip main underscore upper 1.L. We're going to take it and we're going to put it on all of the other bones, changing the names. We're going to get rid of the .L on the middle one and just have it named lip main upper. Then we're going to do the same thing for the lower. We name upper to lower. Now we're going to take our new bone over here and we're going to call this one lip side .L. We're going to grab all of these and delete them. Then we're going to select all of these and hit symmetrize. Now as you can see, we have our bones back to normal. I made sure just to check to make sure that these are still in the middle. Now here's the fun part. With Cloud Rig, we're going to assign this bone and we're going to give it a cloud face chain. We're going to do the same thing for the bottom one. We're going to select the bottom one and the top one, right click and hit copy selected. Now we're going to take all of these little bones that we have and we're going to give them another constraint. First, select all of the bones. And go down here and put in cloud copy. We're going to select that by hitting right click. Copy to selected. This one right over here at the very edge will have the form on. Now we're going to grab all of our bones, gonna right click and symmetrize. Now we're going to take this bone right here, we're going to go down to bone constraints and we're going to give it a armature modifier. We're going to add a bone target, we're going to select the rig, then we're going to select the bone, which will be this one, lip main upper 1.L. You just copy and paste that in. Now as you can see, whenever I move this bone, it moves it. We're going to do that same exact thing by selecting all of these bones and this one last. We're going to go up here, copy to selected. Now we're going to copy this bone and paste it to all of the other bones. Just do it in order. Now we're going to select everything, right click, symmetrize, and now as you can see, all of the bones follow those specific bone. Now that we're done with that, we can now go ahead and generate our rig. We can go down to the armature tab and hit generate rig, or you can hit Control-Alt-R. As you can see, we now have these new looking bones. Let's go ahead and hide our original armature. So now as you can see, our bones look very messy. I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. If we head on over to this tab, we can see our deformed bones. Whenever I move a normal bone, the deformed bone moves with it, besides our middle bone. Let me show you how to fix that. We're going to select everything and hit Alt, R, S, and G. We're going to make this rig invisible and go back to our old rig. We're going to select it, then we're going to go to our armature tab down here. Then we're going to hit Viewport Display. We're going to go to Display As and put B-bones. We're going to hit Tab, then we're going to select everything with A. Then we're going to hit Alt, S. And if you're on 4, it's Shift Control Alt S. If you're on 4.0. So we're going to do that. As you can see, we now scale it visually. Now to fix the main problem, we're going to go to pose mode. We're going to go to the bone. We're going to put this to cloud chain anchor. We're going to copy that to the bottom one. Generate the rig with Control Alt R. Now when I move these, you can see they now move perfectly with it. Now, it's time for one more thing. We're going to select all of the main bones. Then we're going to go down to the bone tab, right down there. This viewport display. We're going to change this to a cube. Now with Cloud Rig, it automatically makes these. I'll show you how to make them in just a bit. Actually, I'll show you it right now. All you gotta do is just hit Shift A, spawn in a cube, hit Tab, hit X, and delete only faces. That's all you need. Hit F2 or spacebar and call it WGT dash cube. And there you go. You can hit M to make a collection and call it WGT, something like that. And you can just put all of your stuff in that collection and just turn it off. Okay, back to the video. As you can see, we can now change it to a cube, a WGT cube. We can hit right click, copy to selected, and we can hit Control Alt R to generate the rig. Now everything works perfectly fine. Now it's time for the weight painting. We're going to go into object mode, we're going to select our mouth, then we're going to shift select our bone. Then we're going to hit Control P, and we're going to assign automatic weights. Now when we go into pose mode, you can see when we move our bones, it now moves the mouth. It doesn't look very good, which is what weight painting is for. Here's how we weight paint. To make your job easier, we're going to select our mouth, go to the object tab, then go to the viewport, and turn on the wireframe, just so we can see the wireframe of our model. And we can also see all of the things that are wrong with the weights from here. Like this piece is being controlled way too much by the top, and not as much as the bottom. This is stuff that we can fix in the weight painting tab. Now what I like to do is I like to select all of the top mouth and move them up, just so I can see all of the weights and the forms way better than if it was just in its idle position. We'll go up here to edit. We're going to turn off lock object mode. So now whenever we select the bones, go into pose mode, we can select the mouth and go into weight paint mode. Have it still keep our pose mode. If I control select the bones, we can see all of the weights. We only need to do one side since it's all mirrored. Up here we have our weights. We can see it when it's at 0, it controls none, as you can see. And then when we move it up to 1, it will control all. Of course, we'll move it down to about like 0.5. We only want it to control half of this mouth area. Weight painting can take a lot of time, so I'd recommend listening to some music while doing this. If you want to learn more about weight painting, I have a few videos in the description that will help you in your weight painting journey. We just want to make sure that the bottom mouth isn't controlling the top, and the top isn't controlling the bottom. And we will take this down at the bottom. We just want to make sure that both of the top and the bottom are controlling the middle equally to 50%. Now what we gotta do is do our side bone. This bone will allow us to do more crazy mouth shapes. So we kind of want this one to control pretty much all of this side bone. When I move it, you can see there's a lot of pinching right here. We can use a smooth brush to smoothen it out just a little bit. Now when we move it, it controls a little bit less. It's a nice gradual gradient. That's all weight painting really is just gradients. Now we're going to take both of the top and the bottom, and I want to have 0 control over this edge. I just want this middle bone to have all control of this edge. See how that might look? Yeah, it's definitely looking better. Now I want to fix that. As you can see, it's pinching a little bit. It won't show, but it is a little bit annoying. So we're going to go ahead and gradually increase our movement, just to get it a little bit less. And make sure both of these are controlling it 50%. We can use the smooth brush very sparingly. Now when we move the mouth, you can see it looks way better. Have the arcs. Now as you can see, this is exactly what we want. No clipping, no nothing. Well, now that we're done with that, we can now test out our mouth. See if it can do some crazy shapes. Like, let's try a smile. One thing that I would definitely recommend is if you turn on the mirror modifier right up here. So whenever you pose your bones, it will mirror it to the other side. Which is why we did the .L. Because the other side will automatically be mirrored to .R. You can go over to the armature tab and hit shift click to make that invisible while you pose. You can hit G to move, R to rotate, and S to scale to pose your mouth. Now, it does look a little bit jagged, so what we're going to do is we're going to select our mouth. We're going to hit Control 2 to add a subdivision. That's our second modifier. As you can see in the modifier tab, we have it right here. We want to make sure that this is below the armature modifier. If we move it above, it will mess up some stuff. Stacking really matters. If we move our mirror modifier to the bottom, this happens. If we move our subdivide to the top, that happens. We need to make sure that it stays in line. But that's not all that we have. We have one more step, which is color, because right now it's just gray. Let's do that right now. So to add color, we'll select our mouth, go down to the material tab right down here. We'll go down here to the color, we'll put that to black. Now as you can see, you can't actually see it right here. It's because we're in solid mode. We need to go up here to rendered mode. As you can see, now we can see the colors. And it changes in real time. Now if I move my camera over, you can see it's kind of shiny. So we're going to fix that. We're going to turn the specular to 0. We're going to turn the roughness up to 1. As you can see, it's completely black now, which is what we want. When we go ahead and try to move the thing, you can see it now looks exactly like it does in the animations. I would definitely have more to this rig, but sadly I have not thought out that far. Whenever I do update, the gum world will be updated. But we have one more thing that we need to show you. The last thing is how to put the mouth on this character, especially if you've been following the tutorial. So let me show you that. We gotta select the mouth, we gotta select our armature, not the full rig, we gotta select the meta rig. We gotta grab it, go into X view, and we're gonna hit S and scale it. We're just gonna line it up to our position of our character. Say about here is fine. We gotta grab the rig, select the rig, and select our other meta rig on our other character. And we're gonna hit Control J. Now as you can see, something blew up, but that's okay. We're gonna hit Tab, we're gonna select all of this, and we're gonna hit Alt S to scale it, or Shift Control Alt S if you're on 4.0. And there. Now what we're gonna do is just regenerate the rig with Control Alt R. Now as you can see, it's not working, so we're gonna go to our mesh. We're gonna take the armature modifier and put it to our new rig. And as you can see, it works perfectly fine. Now as you can see, it's clipping into the mouth. We are going to fix that. So what we want to do is we're going to take our head, we're going to head it into edit mode, and we're going to select the entire thing with A. We'll hit Shift D, then we're going to hit right click, we're going to hit P, then we're going to select that duplicate. We're going to select everything again, Tab A, then we're going to hit Control S, and it's just going to inflate our model. We just want to do it just a little bit. We're going to get rid of the color, and we're going to make it something like red or something. And we're going to hit F2 and name it Shrink Wrap. We're going to grab our face, then we're going to add a new modifier, and it's going to be the Shrink Wrap modifier. We're going to select our Shrink Wrap surface. As you can see, it's now shrink wrapped to the surface. We're going to select that. We're going to go up here and we're going to turn on our viewport window disable. Now we're going to go find our shrink wrap and turn both the rendered mode and the viewport rendered mode off, just so it's completely invisible. Now when we go to move our mouth, you can see it's lined up perfectly. Even if we try to mess it up, it can't. So now this will make it so the mouth will not clip into the face. And there you go, that's the entire mouth rig done. It's very easy and simple if you know what you're doing. But let's move on to the mouth rig. It's going to be way harder and way longer. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So we're going to be using Connie for this day. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to hit Shift A, Mesh, and go to Circle Object. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to move it up to where the eye is. I'd recommend having a reference so you can match it up with your reference perfectly, which is what I have back here. We just click on our reference and check in front on depth. We can play around with the opacity slider to make it more transparent. Now we're just going to line it up with the eyes. I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. Just get it as close to the eyes as possible. We're going to hit Tab to enter into edit mode. And make sure that we have the vertices select. Just hit 1 on your keyboard. You hit E, then S to intrude it to make the eyelids. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Control F and then hit Grid Fill. You're going to open up this tab and then spin this to make sure that it's straight. Just make sure all of the vertices align. Let's move it closer to our head. Rotate it just a little bit. Make sure you hit R then Y twice to rotate it on the local axis. Now we're going to do the same thing as Cosmo. We're going to duplicate the head, hit Tab, hit Alt S to inflate it. Now we're going to check up the window into viewport and turn that off. We're going to name this Shrink Wrap, and we're going to shrink wrap our eye to the shrink wrap surface. As you can see, the eye is very warped. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here we're going to go into edit mode, go up here and click on proportional editing, or you can hit O. We're going to keep it to smooth. It's the default option. Then we're going to hit G to move, and we're going to use our scroll wheel to enhance the selection. We're just going to put it all around the eye. Doesn't need to be perfect. just needs to look good. We can adjust it a little bit more from the front view. We're going to go over here to the modifiers and we're going to apply the shrink wrap modifier. Now what we're going to do is make the eyelashes. We're going to want to move the vertices and add more just to line it up with the eyelash. We're going to extrude it with E, and we're just going to hit S and R to line it up with our model. I like duplicating the reference, putting it back to default and turning the transparency up and moving it forward, just so I can see it better. I'm checking to see how sharp the eyelashes are. Whenever you scale the eyelashes, it makes them tighter in the shrink wrap, so the bigger the scale is, the rounder it will be. I'm going to do the same thing for the other eyelashes. And then one more for the final eyelash. This one is a lot less thin because it's more rounded. Now as you can see, it's not shrink wrapped at all. So what we need to do is apply another shrink wrap modifier, put it to our shrink wrap surface, and then move the vertices to the mesh. We can use proportional editing and just scale it down. Just move all of the vertices and line them up with the mesh. Now what we can do is turn on connected in the proportional editing tab, just to make it so it's only connected edges. Just do the same for the final eyelash, and line them back up with your mesh. Now we can apply the shrink wrap, and now we have the eyelashes. I'm just gonna fix a few stuff that the shrink wrap messed up. That looks good. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Ctrl 2 to add a subdivide. As you can see, now those are more sharp and the final one is more rounded. Now it's time for the actual eye part. We're going to select all of the inside pieces here. And we're going to hit I to inset it just a little bit. Don't do too much, just a tiny amount. Just so we have this little support loop. We're going to then hit Ctrl Shift Plus to enhance our selection. Either that, or if you don't have a numpad in your laptop, you can also hold Alt, Shift Alt, and click the edge. I'm going to go ahead and add a material. We're going to hit, I already have one made called black. It's just a black material with specular 0 and roughness 1. Just like we did with the mouth. We're going to add a new material, and we're going to name this eyes. Yeah, hit assign to the middle, as you can see I selected. And now you can see we have our eye kinda in shape. There's a little bit of bleeding, so we're going to hit Ctrl R and add a loop cut, just to tighten it up a little bit. There you go, that's better. Now, to make the pupils for the eyes, we need UVs. And for UVs, we need to unwrap the model. Good thing this is very easy to do. We're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to go up to 2, or up here, you can hit edge mode. You're going to hold Alt and click on our middle edge. Then we're going to hit U and hit mark seam. As you can see, it's now red. So we're going to hit A, we're going to hit U again, and we're going to hit unwrap. We're going to go up here and open up a new tab. So you gotta slide this over. And we're going to go all the way up here and put in the UV editing tab. Now what we can do is go down here to our shader editor tab. As you can see, we have our principal BSDF. This is what gives us our color. Now we're going to add a new node. Go ahead and hit Shift A. And we're going to type in image texture. Right here. We have our image texture. Of course, we do want to add one more thing to this. But to make that way faster when it comes to nodes, we're going to go up here to the edit, where the preferences, and we're going to head down to add-ons. We're going to search up here, and we're going to type in node Wrangler, as you can see right here. Turn that on, just make sure that it's checked, and then you can exit. I already have mine checked, but you can also go down here and save preferences. We'll click on our node and hit Control T, and it'll add in a mapping node and a texture coordinates node. We'll add in our 4 eyes here. We're going to set this frame count to 1. Now we're going to add in another node, which is a mix color node. We're going to plug the alpha into the factor, and we're going to plug the color into the bottom color slot. We're going to make sure that that is white, and we're going to plug this into base color. Now that's actually messed up. It meant to put in eyes, not black. Anyways, it should look like this. Now to get rid of this purple, we're going to need to add in cycles and auto refresh. As you can see, it's off to the side. If I go to the UV editor, you can see whenever I move this, the eye also moves. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the eye, we're going to get out of tab, we're going to hit Control A, and we're going to apply the scale and the rotation. We're going to hit Tab, U, then unwrap again. Now here's the problem. When we move this right, it goes right. When we move it left, it goes left. But when we move it up, it goes down. When we move it down, it goes up. We kind of want this to be inverted. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit S right here. And we're going to hit X. And then we're going to hit -1 on our keyboard. So now when I move it right, it goes left. When I move it left, it goes right. This is going to be useful later. Now we gotta go ahead and line this up with our eye on our reference. Little tip, do not scale the eyes. I found that out the hard way. It messes up everything. So just leave them as perfect circles. Now that we have that, we can now click on our eye and hit right click and shade smooth just to get rid of all of the polygons. We're going to go ahead and add a new modifier. We're going to add the mirror modifier. Move it above our subdivide. We're going to attach it to the head. And now we have both of the eyes. Now once again, they're a little bit shiny. You can keep this if you want, but I would recommend putting it to 0.3 for the specular and 0.7 for the roughness, just to get rid of it. Now the next thing is whenever I move the eyes, they kind of loop, as you can see. It's repeating the texture. We don't want this to happen, so we're going to go over to our image texture. We're going to click from repeat to clip. Now when we do it, it just is one eye. We're going to go ahead and add a new modifier, and we're going to use UV warp modifier. Now we need 2 targets for the modifier, which will be our bones. So now we get into it again. We're going to take our head bone, duplicate it, R to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to scale it down to our eyes and put it in position. I'm going to just line it up with our eyes. We're going to put it about right here. Now this method is from Patrick Purick's tutorial on how to make the 2D eyes. We're going to be doing that same exact thing. We're going to extrude a bone with E. We're going to call this the reference bone. We're going to duplicate it and scale it down. Then this bone right here will be called the iris bone. Just here call it iris. .L. Make sure that you put the .L so we can move it to the other side. We're going to add another bone. This one will be called the IMCH bone. .L. And the final one will be called the I root bone. .L. Now we have all 3 bones. We're going to go over to the eyes. We're going to go to modifier and put the armature in these tabs. We're going to have our first bone be the reference .L bone. Then, as you can see, it just broke a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and go to the second one and do the IMCH bone. So now whenever I move these bones, you can see they kind of move with the eyes, although very slowly. Make sure that all bones are unconnected and also parented to the root bone. When we move them around, it does not help, and this bone doesn't do anything. But we're going to make this bone drive the MCH bone. We'll go over to our MCH bone, go up here to the top and add an add driver. Then make the target our rig. Then we're going to go over here and we're going to type in iris.l. Yeah, change this to local space, x-axis on location. Then we're going to change this var message to times. We'll do about something like 7. This is trial and error and different for everyone. When the eye is aligned with the bone, that's how you know you got it. So we're going to change it to 5. That looks about good. Okay, we're going to copy this by hitting right click, hitting copy driver. I'm going to paste it into this one. You hit edit driver and change this to Y location instead of X. Now when we move the bone, it moves on the X axis and the Y axis. This is about it with the eyes. Of course, we can't scale them or rotate them, so let's go ahead and fix that problem. We're going to click on our iris bone and our MCH bone and hit Shift Control C. We're going to add in a copy rotation and a copy scale constraint. So now when we scale it, it now scales with the eyes. And the rotation, as you can see, also rotates. There's actually another reason why I said don't scale the UVs. As you can see right here, I'm now fixing them because I scaled them. Scaling the UVs can end up breaking your rig, so just leave them as circles. Now that I fixed that, you now have a pretty working eye rig. You can scale them, rotate them, and move it around. You could really just leave it at this if you really wanted to, but we're going to show you just a little bit more. We're going to drag click on everything, hit right click, and hit symmetrize to the other side. Now if we take our bone, you can see it controls both sides with one bone. We don't want that to happen. We're going to go ahead and apply our mirror modifier. But wait, do not apply the mirror modifier yet. We have to go down here to the data path and make sure that we check U mirrored. This will mirror the UVs, so it'll be the exact opposite of the other one. We're going to hit tab, hover over this and hit L, then we're going to hit P to hit selection. Then we're going to click on that and replace all of the .L's with .R's. Now when I move it around, it works perfectly. You now have two bones that control two separate eyes. We can do is take our iris bones, hit Shift D and move them up to the front. We're going to rename them by hitting F2 or space. Then we're going to make them name iTarget.L. We're going to delete this one and we're going to right click and symmetrize. We're going to turn mirror mode off. We're going to hit Shift D, right click, and then we're going to put these to the middle by putting these to 0. Then we're going to grab all 3 of them and we're going to parent them to the head with Control P. Now when I move this, I want these 2 to move with this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to click our middle one, shift click our other one, hit Control Shift C, and we're going to do copy all transforms. We're going to put these to local space, which is right down here. I'm going to take this and put it to origin split channels. Now you can move both of them with no bad effects. We're going to do the same thing with the target.L and our iris bone. We're going to do copy all transform, local space, and split channels. Now when you move this middle bone, it will move both bones. We're just going to grab everything, hit right click, and symmetrize. And now they both work perfectly. This one bone controls both eyes. Now once again, we're going to add more custom shapes. We're going to make this one a circle. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees right here. Then we're going to copy it to the other side. We're going to click this, shift click that, right click, selected, and we're going to do the same thing for these ones. Right click, selected. Now what we're going to do is we're going to scale this. We're going to also copy it to selected. Just to make these a bit better, we're going to scoot them in. There you go. We're going to make another custom shape. We're going to add in a circle. We're going to make her invisible. Make all of these stuff invisible just so we can see. We're going to scale the circle down and we're going to line it up with the middle. We're going to hit Shift D to duplicate it, line this one up with the middle. We're going to click on both of them with Shift. Then we're going to hit Control J to join them. We're going to delete these middle bones. Then we're going to hit F to join these. Then we're going to right click, set origin to geometry. Then we're going to hit Shift S to put it to the middle. Then we're going to scale it down. Apply all transforms, and we're going to name it WGT target. Now we're going to go ahead and move it to our collection that we made. Now we're going to take this and we'll put in WGT and put it to that target bone. Now when we do that, we have this little piece. We can just scale it up to engulf the other two pieces, just to make the wig look nicer. Now what we can do to make this look better is we can go up here to the armature tab and add in custom bone colors. I already made one, but you can just hit the add button, name your bone, and then change the color here. We're gonna make ours yellow. Actually, I want these two to be yellow. I want this one to kind of be like a pinkish little. Yeah, it looks nice. Now we have our custom colors on our bones, just so you can see them better. We can do the same thing for iris bones. Just click on both the iris bones, then hit Shift and copy to selected. We copy selected to all of the other pieces. We can grab our reference and our MCH bone, hit M, and move them all the way over to this collection. And our root bones, we can give it its own custom shape. I already have one made, which should be the root bone, which looks like this. We'll rotate it 90 degrees, and we're just going to move it up. As you can see, they're very far back, so we can move them up with the y-axis right here. We're gonna copy it to the selected, and out of here. We're also going to we're gonna make them a little bit bigger. And we're going to give it a yellow color. Now if you're using Cloudwig, you're going to select all of the bones, not the head. And then we're going to take it and move it to copy constraint, copy to selected. And the root bones will have a deform value. Make sure you do the same thing with the bones that you just made invisible. Make those also copy constraint. And now we are done. We can now generate the rig with Control Alt R. Now when we move it, as you can see, nothing happens. It's because our modifiers did not change with our rig. We just go over to the eyes, go to the UV warp, and change these to our rig name. Now when we move the eyes, then I move. Okay, now we're going to show you how to make these switching eyes. We're going to make this one invisible. We're going to go to our meta rig. Then we're going to duplicate our iris bone. Move it to the right. Scale it up just a little bit. And we're going to name this eye switch. Gonna go to pose mode. We're going to get rid of all of its custom shapes and constraints. We're going to go down here and we're going to add in a custom property. You're going to click add. We're going to change this right here to eye switch.l. Now I'm going to change this from float to integer. We're going to have it be default to 1, and the maximum will be how many eyes you have. Now we can change it. We're going to go over to our eye now. Just make everything invisible, including the hair. We'll go ahead and hit M, add a new collection, and we're going to name this eyes. This will be where all of our eyes will be. We're going to duplicate it with Shift D, and we're going to make it invisible, and we're going to just edit to make our next eye shape. We'll be using proportional editing, so you can hit O or click the button up here and use your scroll wheel to change the proportions. You can be sloppy with this, just make sure that you get the eye looking as you want it. May take a little bit for the first try. We're going to click this vertex, we're going to hold Alt and select everything and hit SZ, and we're going to just scale it down. Just use GG to slide. As you can see, we got a nice rough eye. We can go ahead and hit shrink wrap and shrink wrap it to our shrink wrap surface somewhere. Here it is. Now it's all shrink wrapped. We're going to go ahead and apply the shrink wrap. And then we're going to go ahead and just fix any minor bugs. Just sliding vertices just to make the topology look better. Now we got one eye done. We just need to do this a few more times. First thing we're going to do is we're hit U, then we're going to unwrap. Now we're going to go ahead and pull out our other leg. We'll hit U, then we're going to unwrap. I'm going to make our other eye uninvisible, and I'm going to adjust the topology to fit our other eye. This is trial and error on scaling it and just making it fit. You can go ahead and make the eye invisible and uninvisible whenever you need it. Just hit Tab H to make it invisible. Yeah, just try and line it up as best as you can with your eye. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be lined up as well as possible. Make sure that you hit SX -1, otherwise you will have to do this again. I've learned that the hard way. There you go, now we made both of our eyes, and it should look seamless like this. We're going to go ahead and duplicate the eyes one more time to add another one. Make the other two invisible. I'm going to just use proportional editing to make one more eye. This will be our last open eye. I wanted it to be a sad face eye. You make as many of these as you want, but for this tutorial I'll only be making 3. Now we did that, we can go ahead and add a shrink wrap modifier. Just put it to our shrink wrap surface, apply it, and fix all of the bugs. Now we can go ahead, hit Tab, then we can hit U, unwrap, rotate it, then do S, X, -1. And now we can line it up with our other eye. Okay, we're getting close, somewhere around here. Now we have all 3 eyes that line up perfectly. We now go ahead and add in a closed eye. We're going to add in a plane, rotate it 90, and we're going to just move this in front of the head. We're going to scale this plane down. We're going to edit mode. I'm going to line it up with our eyelid. It's going to extrude it along the lines. Turn off proportional editing just to make this easier. Just gonna hit E, R, and S just to scale it around. Now that we've done that, we're going to use a shrink wrap. We'll put it to our shrink wrap surface. And I'm going to move the eyes with proportional editing to the face. This one takes a lot longer just to move every vertex to the right spot. I decided that it was way too long, so I just made it shorter. You can make this to any shape. I just wanted it to be a little bit more curved. I hit Ctrl R just to add more loop cuts, and then subdivided it with Ctrl 2. Moved it over to the eyes. Now we have all 4 eyes. Now we're going to apply the shrink wrap. And now what we're going to do is we're going to select all of our eyes. And we're going to select our final eye last. Then we're going to hit Ctrl J to merge everything into one. We're going to move it into the head. And we're going to add a mirror modifier, put it to the head. Now what we're going to do is we're going to apply the mirror modifier. Make sure you do that. We're going to go to the data path and we're going to add in shape keys. We're going to add in about 4 of them for every eye. The first one will be our normal eye, which will be our open. And we're just going to hit G, turn off proportional editing, and just move it to the front and get it as close as possible on the face. And we're going to do the same thing for the other eyes. This is by far the best way that I've found to do this. I'm still trying to find other ways. So if I find a better way, I'll definitely update the Gumroad page. Now you did it for every single eye, we can go ahead and click on this eye and hit L on all of these pieces. Make sure you got everything. We'll hit P, separate. Now this is its own object. We'll do the exact same for all of these shape keys. Now when we move these shape keys, you can see they all have their own eye. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn off relative right here. And as you can see, every 10 it changes shape keys. We'll use some math and drivers to drive this right here. We're going to add in a driver, right click, add driver. We're going to hit X on that and add in a new input value. We're going to go down here to our bone that we just made and right click our custom property that we made a little bit ago and hit copy data path. We'll go down back to the data tab. We're going to go edit the driver, put in our rig, and we're going to put in our property. We're going to go ahead and change this to round, bracket, and inside the bracket it will be var, and we're going to do times 10. This will make it so every time the integer changes, it will change times 10. We used the wrong head, so let me make that invisible and use this one. So now whenever we go to our bone and change this, the eyes will change. Gotta delete this. We forgot to add the .l, so we're going to re-add that. Then we're going to symmetrize it. Whenever you change the name, make sure that you recopy the data path and repaste it back into the eyes. We're going to go to the other bone. We're going to go down to the data path and change this .l to .r, just to not have any bugs. We're going to copy this data path and put it into the other one. We're going to take our other eye and we're going to copy the driver, go to the other eye, turn off relative, paste driver, edit, and put in our new data path. Now when we click on both of these, they both control their own eye. Now the reason why I like CloudRig is so we can do some magic. If we go ahead and click on our bone, and we go ahead and go down here, we can type in I switch, then we can do like 1 through 5 or something, 1 through 4. We're going to copy it and paste it on the other one so that they have the same name. Then when we regenerate the rig, Control Alt R, force go down here and change the drivers to have the right rig. But if we go down here to CloudRig, you can see we now have the eye switch tab right here. We now move these and the eyes will switch with it. One of the main reasons why I like using CloudRig. We're going to take the eyes, then attach them to the rig. We're going to go ahead and click on both of our eyes, shift click on the rig. We're going to hit Control P, empty group. We'll go into our bones, go to pose mode, and go into weight paint mode. We'll click on our bones and weight paint all of the eyes to that one bone. Do the same thing for the other side. So the root bones now control the eyes. And move that up above the subdivision. When I move the eyes, you can see they scale, they rotate. Now one thing I forgot is the right eye. I forgot to change everything to .r. Now it works. Yeah, now we can move them both separately. You can scale them and rotate them, and you now move the root bones and switch the eyes. There's only just one more thing that's left to do. Now all we gotta do is just make it so the eyes can switch. As you can see, we have our eyes right here. And the offset will control the eyes, so we can change them, the values. We're gonna go ahead and add a driver, and we're going to add our root to it. We're going to grab our bones, our eye switch.l. We're going to paste it in here, and we're going to do the Y location in local space. We move it up, as you can see nothing happens until we move it really high up. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the eyes, and we're going to change this from plus to times something high, like 20. Now when I move it up, see it's a bit better. We're going to do something higher, like we'll do like 30. It's a bit better. Just gotta change it one more time to 40. Should be good. Yeah, way better. We're gonna click on our right eye. We're gonna go down to the material tab. And we're gonna click this number to duplicate it. We're going to now change the driver to .r. Then we're gonna copy the materials by duplicating like that. Now when we move this eye, it changes. One more thing, make sure that the root bones on your eyes are connected to the head. Make sure that they're pointed to the head. Same with your switch bones. Now when we move the head, it'll move everything. And yeah, that's everything for the eye rig. You can now scale it, you can now change the eyes, you can now move them around, and change the way they look. I'm still working on mini improvements to this rig, just trying to figure out everything. Like the eyes on Connie will definitely be re-rigged once I know how to make them work to the way Connie is like. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions for the rig, leave it in the comments. I'll try to respond to as many people. Anyways, that's it for this video. Sorry it took so long. DaVinci deleted a lot of my editing, so I had to re-edit all of it. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. MasterBlaster out.